Today's set review video looks over the allies of the Digidestined. While you could say they are miscellaneous Digimon, I say they are the allies throughout the series. Don't worry, villains are next. Otamamon and Gekomon are both Digimon that go with Shogun Geckomon, but because they help the Digidestined at the end of Adventure 1, they go with the allies, while Shogun Geckomon goes enemies. Both of these Digimon have identical opponent's turn inheritables that are once per turn. Here, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, trash the bottom 2 Digivolution cards of that Digimon. These are interesting countercards to your opponent, but situational in my mind because comparatively, Joe and Gomamon have more reactive cards that don't require your opponent to make the action. You can be the aggressor. Leomon has a simple inheritable of once per turn. When attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP. It's basic and pretty typical of yellow Digimon. This Digimon was the guardian of Primary Village, where all Digitama hatch and grow. Again, a lot of these cards feel more sealed than meta breaking, but that may change here in a bit. Chumon rounds out the level 3s for this topic, and has a simple on-play effect that adds the top card of your security to your hand. Then, you can place one card with Sukamon and its name from your hand at the top of security. This Digimon offers security manipulation and can easily be played by even the likes of inheritable Chumons. This also lets you place even option cards like Suka's Curse on top. The deck of memes is really living up to its reputation. Its inheritable on deletion simply DP reduces one of your opponent's Digimon by 3000 DP for the turn. Sukamon also returns, this time a security Digimon that at the end of battle, plays itself. Despite a weak stat line, Sukamon decks are gaining more traction in its offensive capability, while also growing in defense. Its inheritable mirrors that of Chumon, which is typical for most sets with Digimon in the evolution line. Unimon, a simple Digimon with barrier, that if this Digimon would be deleted in battle, you may trash the top card of your security to prevent that deletion. Barrier is a new mechanic that largely doesn't have anything crazy yet, but for a basic Digimon that can prevent itself from being deleted, pretty good and sealed. The last yellow Digimon that allied with the Digidestined is Centarumon. This is Centarumon's second appearance, and when Digivolving can ping one of your opponent's Digimon of 3000 DP. This ties back in some ways to the Digimon World 1 game, where when you found Centarumon's maze, each movement resulted in some damage. Inheritable wise, once per turn when attacking, it's another 2000 DP reduction. In theory, if you have 5 memory to play with, you could reduce one of your opponent's Digimon by 3000, then reduce another 2000 after you Digivolve into a level 5. But now it's time for some green cards. Leomon returns as yet another green Digimon. Leomon thrives in all sorts of colors, whether it be blue, green, yellow, or purple. In some ways, this Digimon is kind of like Agumon, who's appeared in all colors, but white. When Leomon attacks an opponent's Digimon with higher DP, this Digimon may Digivolve into a level 6 Digimon with Leomon in its name from your hand for a Digivolution cost of 6, ignoring the requirements. Again, a throwback to when Leomon faced off against Metal Etamon in Adventure 1. There are quite a few Leomon targets in the green category, but because the text does not ignore color, you're locked in only green. BT4 Bancho Leomon, BT7 SaberLeomon, and your BT14 SaberLeomon are all viable targets. The inheritable simply gives a DP buff if this Digimon has Leomon in its name. Piximon has an on-play when Digivolving effect that prevents one of your opponent's Digimon from unsuspending until the end of your opponent's turn. While simple, I can't help but wonder why this Digimon doesn't have anything included with it that suspends a Digimon or Tamer. It feels underpowered, but in regards to sealed, because it is a fairy type, this Digimon is also searchable off Mimi Tachikawa. Finally, to round out the green cards, SaberLeomon makes yet another appearance. This time a Digimon with piercing, a stat line of 12,000 DP, and several effects. When Digivolving, by unsuspending this Digimon, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. End of your turn, this Digimon can attack one of your opponent's Digimon. One distinction from Arrestedramon is that in order to attack, this Digimon must be able to suspend to attack. Arrestedramon clearly states without suspending. Furthermore, The effect does let you attack a Digimon, which does not reflect its own position of being suspended or unsuspended. However, previous Digimon like Chaosmon do state that you can attack even unsuspended Digimon. This leads me to these conclusions because frankly, I'm finding it really hard to find rulings for a lot of these cards as I review them. It's a decent boss monster for sealed, but in a pure Leomon deck, wait for EX5. Now for Ogremon. While originally a villain, this Digimon would redeem itself by the end of the series. Your turn, once per turn when a card is trashed from your hand by your effect, gain 1 memory. Additionally, its inheritable is the same thing. Again, at this time I'm curious if this Digimon has a place in any deck. The memory tricks could be useful, but without jamming, this Digimon will likely only have 1 use before it's deleted. Don't worry though, more to come with its option card. As for Tamers, Genai makes his official appearance. A 3-cost white Tamer that on play reveals the top 5 cards of your deck to add 1 level 3 Digimon, and 1 non-white Tamer from among them to hand before placing the rest on the bottom. On your opponent's turn, when an opponent's level 5 or higher Digimon attacks, by suspending this Tamer, move 1 Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area. This is interesting for the fact that this can set up the domino effect in which you could promote that level 4 or level 5 Digimon before you blast Digivolve into the next level. At least, based on my interpretation of the timing. But outside of Ace Evolutions, it's an alright generic searcher for Tamer and their partner Digimon. For the last 2 cards of this video, I'll be talking about Suka's Curse and Pummel Whack. Suka's Curse is a black-yellow option card, meaning you have to have both colors to play it. Main, one of your non-white Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Sukamon in its name from your hand without paying the cost and ignoring Digivolution requirements. Why you would use the main effect is beyond me, considering you have ways to manipulate it into security from hand. But in security, you get to change one of your opponent's Digimon into a white Digimon with 3000 DP, and an original name of Sukamon until the end of your turn. In some ways, this sets up your King Sukamon's aggressiveness, or protection. I can't wait to upgrade this deck. The last option card though is Pummel Whack. This signature move used by Ogremon lets you delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. If it's trashed from hand by effect, draw 1. A neat interaction that I'm going to enjoy considering in security, as it's removal, but in hand it's trash fodder for another potential draw. Generally speaking, Digimon that allied themselves to the Digidestined have a lot of new support cards, even for previous variants of themselves. Which ones did you like most, and what are you excited to see from the villains? Tune in tomorrow for the next set review episode, covering the villains of the Digidestined. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.